Okay, so in this video we're going to talk about the digestive system structure. So this is the torso model. So the head and neck model. So in here we have the different types of teeth. So we have the central incisors, lateral incisors, the canines. Then we have the premolars, first and second. And then we have first, second, and third molars. And in here in the oral cavity, we have hard palate, soft palate. So hard palate is made by the maxillary bone and the palatal bone. And then this soft palate is made by muscles, palatal muscles that ends in this fleshy extension, which is called the uvula. Now this opening between the lips, which will be here between the lips and the teeth, will be the vestibule, and this will be the tongue, made by the intrinsic muscles of the tongue. And then here we have the opening of the oral cavity, which is called the fauces. And then we have this oropharynx, that it is a shared tube between the respiratory and digestive system. So air and food can get transferred into here, and then the food will go into the esophagus, which is a long tube that you can see here, posterior to the heart and to the trachea within the torso model, which is this. This is the esophagus. So the esophagus transfers the food from the oral cavity into the stomach, which is this. The stomach is found in the abdominal cavity just below the diaphragm on the left side, close to the spleen, which is this. Now on the right side of the abdominal cavity, we have the major gland, or the largest gland in our body, which is the liver, which is in charge of producing proteins for our blood. Also is in charge of metabolic regulation, producing bile, has several functions. Now, so if we remove the liver, you can see here then the connection of the esophagus to the stomach. So in here we have an sphincter that is called inferior esophageal sphincter. So when we are swallowing food and transferring the food from the esophagus into the stomach, this sphincter, which is a collection of smooth muscle fibers, will open up, and then it will close, preventing backing up of the food from the stomach into the esophagus. So then the different regions of the stomach will be the following. So this will be the cardiac region, just because in here we have the heart nearby. Okay, and then this dome-shaped region that is next to the cardiac region will be the fundus. This will be the body, and then this will be the pyloric canal. Now this stomach has a J shape with two major curvatures. This will be the lesser curvature, and this is the greater curvature. Attached to the greater curvature, we have this apron-like structure that is filled with fat. This is called the greater omentum. And then here at the end of the stomach, we have the pyloric sphincter that prevents the emptying of the stomach when it's not necessary. So this will be normally closed, and then it will open up when you're emptying the stomach. And then the food will pass from the stomach into the duodenum, which is this. And then the duodenum has different regions, first, second, third. And then here in the second region of the duodenum, we have the emptying of the bile from the liver in here, and also emptying of pancreatic juices from the pancreas, which is this gland. The pancreas, it's a retroperitoneal gland, so we have this membrane that covers the abdominal cavity that is called the peritoneum, and glands that are located, or organs posterior to the peritoneum, will be called retroperitoneal. So this gland, the pancreas, has a tail, a body, and a head. The head, it is embraced by the C-shaped duodenum, which is the first portion of the small intestine. Now this is the small intestines together with the duodenum, and we have the jejunum and the ileum. This division, you cannot see it because we cannot extend these loops of this model, but this region in here, the last region, will be the ileum. The ileum communicates with the cecum, which is this part of the large intestine, using this valve, which is called the ileocecal valve. So the ileocecal valve prevents feces that are produced here in the colon from going back into the ileum. Now the cecum, it is continuous with this upper portion that of the right side of the colon that is called ascending, and then the ascending, it will make a turn towards the left into what we call the hepatic flexure. A part of the model fell down, so that's why you hear that noise. So this is called the hepatic flexure because you have that liver in here, the hepatic gland. And then in here in the colon, we have a part that goes from right to left. This will be the transverse colon. And then here, the colon makes another turn now downward. And this turn or flexure is going to be called a splenic because you have here the spleen. And then this portion that goes down is called descending, and it makes this S-like turn that is called the sigmoid, and then you have the rectum, and then the anus. Now, here posteriorly in the colon, we have this membrane that is called the mesocolon. This membrane holds the colon to the posterior abdominal wall to prevent entangling of the colon. And we also have a membrane similarly for the small intestine. This will be called the mesentery. And not only helps the mesentery and the mesocolon to hold these intestines into the posterior abdominal wall, but also provides a route for the blood vessels to provide blood supply to the different regions of the colon or the small intestine. Now within the colon, we have this longitudinal structure that follows all the colon that is called the taenia coli, and then we have these outpouchings that we call haustras. Now for the pancreas, we have the main pancreatic duct, which is this, and then it joins the common bile duct, which is this. Now for the liver, we have the right and the left lobes, and then we have here in the anterior view, and then here we have the quadrate lobe and the caudate lobe next to the inferior vena cava, and this is the gallbladder with its fundus, its body, its neck, and then this will be the cystic duct that receives the bile from the right and the left bile ducts that empties into the gallbladder. And this is all for the digestive system.